And so too the men's fours, with Britain seeking a hat-trick of Olympic fours titles that began with Sir Steve Redgrave in Sydney and continued with Sir Matthew Pinsent in Athens. Well, this has been no easy qualification for the French, who only found their way into the semi-finals by last Monday's repechage. So this quartet, who finished 6th at the last 2 World Championships, will really need to raise their game. Well, Australia here might well be in with a shout again, having given themselves a big preparatory confidence boost just 10 weeks ago in Lucerne when disposing of Holland, France and Germany. In lane 3, Slovenia, winners of their semi-final with the Piri brothers, Miha at stroke and Thomas in the bow of the crew that finished 5th at last year's World Championships in Munich. Back to winning ways in the heats and the semis for Jürgen Grobler's flagship British crew. Steve Williams in the 2 seats, slapping his thighs, providing the crew continuity from Athens to Beijing. Next to them in lane 5, the Czech Republic, European champions last season, but ranked only 7th in the world. However, this is a relatively young crew in its early 20s, so wherever they finish today, a brighter future is a real possibility. In lane 6, Germany, beset by selection disagreements early in the season and in the last few days disrupted by a debilitating virus that's been running through the squad. So it's Gregor Hauff at stroke, Urs Käfer at 2, Richard Schmidt, and into the bow comes Jochen Urban.
And David, if the Germans have had injury troubles here, you know, it's nothing to the troubles the British have had during the season, but here they are the favourites and they're the only ones that can lose this if they have a bad row. Britain should really be the gold medalist in this event.
Germany, attention.
Yeah, and that's another clean start.
Yeah, good start for everybody here, and I think Hodgie in stroke of the British 4 is winding them up. Just clocked them at an amazing 57 strokes a minute coming off. That's a very high rating, but what's going to be important for them is how they settle into this race. They've got to find their rhythm, and that was the thing that eluded them in the season when they had those poor races in Lucerne and again in Poznan. So how will they settle? Key question for the British.
So right on the far side, it's France, who also made a good start. Lane 2, Australia. 3, that's the bow, the Slovenians. 4, Great Britain, coming down closest to you. 2 away from you, that's the Czech Republic, and closest to you are Germany.
The Germans I don't expect to figure with their troubles, but I do expect British bows to hit the front just before the 500 metres. That's how they like to race, get out in front and then see the rest of the world come back to them. It was Steve Redgrave's way, it was Matt Pinsent's way. We know this race is going to be tight at the finish, but certainly expect that bow of the number 4 to hit the front and stay out there early on.
Yeah, and as you said, Martin, the British have had their fair share of reorganisation. Andrew Triggs-Hodge in the stroke seat, Peter Reid in 3, then Steve Williams, and Tom James in the bow.
Tom James coming in for Alex Partridge, desperately disappointed that Partridge didn't make the boat, but James has proved himself. Fantastic 9 seconds, increased his PB on the ergometer test over 2K, and he deserves his place.
But in fact, it's Australia who crossed the 500-metre line in first place. And of course, Martin, Australia, no strangers with the great awesome foursome to success in this boat class.
I know, they're owning a boat named after Michael Mackay, who's here doing radio commentary for the Australian radio. And he said, you know, these guys can win gold. They're actually on fire from Lucerne. They had to go for the qualification regatta. And now in this second 500, they're slowly edging away from the field. And while the British were content to let the French go in the semi-final and row back through them, they can't let Australia get too far.
Yeah, Australia with just over a quarter of a length. Francis Hegarty in the stroke seat, then Cameron Mackenzie McHarg, James Marburg and Matt Ryan. That's the quartet working back through to the bow, and that's a really impressive start as we go overhead here on the left of your picture. That's lane 1, that's the French, then Australia. You can see they've just got the edge. Slovenia 3 from the left, and then Great Britain, and to the right of Great Britain 2 from the right there, that's the Czech Republic, and Germany off the pace in 6th place, extreme right.
You know, and if we've said Britain are the favourites for this race, it isn't going to plan at the moment, because you would expect them to be a little bit more in contention. That's nearly 2/3, 3/4 of a length the Australians have got out in front, and these guys, well, they thought they should have been in the Australian 8, which was the second priority boat for the team. These guys, the third priority. They've really got a point to prove. Since they've been in the 4, they've shown impressive form and laid the gauntlet down, and Britain not doing what they should do at this moment.
And I tell you what, it was actually the Slovenians who were the quickest boat in that second quarter, 1:33.79, and that's put them back perhaps with a chance of a medal here.
I have to say the Australians are looking great, but in the third 500 metres, that's where we saw Great Britain really push on. I think Hodgie, the stroke man, gave Peter Reid the time around the back turn, and they are moving, Britain, but I would expect them to see move a little bit more and get past the Slovenians at present in that second, third place position.
It's really interesting here because as the British and the Slovenians start to raise their pace, they're asking questions of the Australians, and so far the Australians are answering them.
Well, you know, they look as smooth as that Australian double we've just seen down, as smooth as the Australian pair. Do you know, that's going to be very difficult to catch. The British haven't moved as impressively as they did in their semi-final when they did take it back on the French. At the moment, they look as if they're cool. They're at 36 strokes a minute, but the Australians are at 3/4 of a length lead. That's going to be difficult to catch up on.
Yeah, they just have picked it up again, the Australians there. Remember, it was just about half a length, and now they've just eked out a little bit more.
Yeah, this isn't going according to plan. I don't think this is the greatest row for the British, who are the gold medal favourites.
I'll tell you what, that Australian boat will get a check as they go through into the last quarter, but for my money, that is the fastest moving boat at this moment.
Absolutely, and they look the best moving boat as well. Really smooth, tremendous setup from Mackenzie McCargan, the 3-seat. What a great row he is. And I don't think the British push has worked in this third quarter.
Now coming up with just 500 metres to go, and we've got a time, 1:33.87, Australia for that third quarter.
I think it's going to be Australia's medal, this one. I can't see the British coming back. Steve Williams had a look, and what must he be thinking now? They've nearly got a length. I've never seen the British four have a finish where they've got that back that distance over this margin.
And right on the far side there, France in vying for a medal, Slovenia also with a shout of a medal, and not entirely out of it either of the Czech Republic. You can just see the bow of their white four just on the left of your picture there, but Great Britain now have really raised it up.
Yeah, they're at 41 strokes a minute. This is uncharted territory for them. We haven't seen them with a great last 250 in any of the races they've done. Can they do it now?
Well, not only have they got to sustain this, they've got to actually make this count. This is the only chance. They will not have a chance to lift it again, and they are doing it. And this is a fantastic push. Andrew Triggs-Hodge there. Really, the pain must be unbelievable. This is mind over matter. Australia clinging on the far side. France beginning to move up as well, maybe going for the bronze medal. Australia versus Great Britain on the near side. The two crews now almost level, and it's Andrew Triggs-Hodge leading the way. Peter Reid, Steve Williams, Tom James, and they've done it. They've got into the lead, but now they have to hold it. They're not there yet. France finishing fast on the far side, coming towards the line. 4 more strokes to go, and Great Britain, Olympic champions in Sydney and in Athens, and that's the hat-trick from Australia, who takes silver. France bronze, and then in 4th place across the line, it's Slovenia ahead of the Czech Republic and Germany. Wow, what a final 250, Martin.
Yeah, and to wait 4 years for your first time you do a tremendous finish. Hodgie can't believe it. I think he's the real crew maker in this boat.
I mean, this is your boat, Martin. You describe the pain, what these guys are going through.
Unbelievable. I think to do that sprint finish, the step up, did you see the step up through up to 40, 41, 43? Steve Williams calling it. Very cool. Hodgie laying back there in the arms of Pete Reid, and the Australians, well, that was their gold they lost. They could have really picked it up, but you can't take it away. Hodgie, a brilliant final 250 metres.
And here you can see it in the end. It looks pretty decisive, but that must have really hurt. And I just wonder if they actually knew what was going on in that boat. They just laid themselves out there, and that was to die for.
Yeah, you know, you've got to have confidence in each other, and I think if Stevie Williams is calling it, they go up through the rates, and that was something we haven't seen. I must say the first part of the road probably wasn't their best rowing, but if they did save the best to last, that was fantastic. And they had that little cushion at the end, which, you know, you wouldn't have thought they would win by that much when they were so far down with 500 to go.
And what does Jürgen Grobler say to his crew time after time after time? No one can beat you. That's what he's been drilling into them, and now they've turned those words into reality.
Yeah, and just a word about Jürgen Grobler there. You know, David, he's coached the gold medal crew every Olympics since 1972 that he's been to, apart from the one boycott in Los Angeles in '84.
Well, what a terrific end to the first day of finals. The British quartet proving that you can turn a season's form around and come back to grab the biggest prize. For Steve Williams, a second